host Melvin Lars. And listen, guys, we have a dynamic show for you this afternoon. We have three dynamic personalities, two of whom are not with us right now, but they will be joining us lately. However, we have the man himself, Dr. Johnny W. Poole. Now, he'll be speaking with us this afternoon about the C.C. Taylor Foundation. He's the director of the philanthropy and stewardship of the C.C. Taylor Foundation, and he will be sharing with us very clearly and very concisely about the foundation. He'll be sharing with you how you can make donations and where you information, etc. I see Dr. Townsend coming in to the fore as well, and we want to invite Dr. Townsend. Glad you're here.
Yes, good evening.
We're very happy to be here.
Thank you.
Good evening. So, Dr. Townsend, we've gotten the show started, and we're going to continue forward. I was just introducing Dr. Poole, and I wanted to share a little piece, and then we're going to ask Dr. Poole to elaborate a little bit more himself. Reverend Dr. Johnny William W. Poole is Interim Director, Philanthropy and Stewardship at the Reverend Charlie E. and Cinderella S. Taylor Senior Foundation. His expertise is executive religious leadership development, global religion program management, and faith-based philanthropy enables him to provide practical insights for mentoring, training, and catalyzing complex organizations to optimize previously untapped potential in persons, teams, and systems. He's a graduate of the University of Mississippi in Oxford, Mississippi, earned his Master's of Divinity from Memphis Theological Seminary and a Master of Theology from Princeton Theological Seminary. He holds a diploma in national security strategy from the Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island, and a doctorate of ministry degree from Wesley Theological Seminary in Washington, D.C. He completed Indiana University Lilly Family School of Philanthropy's certificate in fundraising management and the Lake Institute on Faith and Giving executive certificates in religious fundraising. He's a 31-year Navy veteran who achieved the rank of captain in the Chaplains Corps of the United States Navy. He was born in Ethelsville, Alabama, adopted at the age of 3, and raised in Columbus, Mississippi. And I cannot go any further. I know the operative is always to thank someone for their service. That seems to be so little to say for a gentleman that has virtually given his life to the military and to our service. So we want to stop at this time and just acknowledge and thank Dr. Poole for his service. Now, his Navy assignment includes Commander Navy Surface Group 4, Newport, Rhode Island, Navy Recruit Training Center, San Diego, California, and the United States Navy Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. He went on to serve as Deputy Command Chaplain on the USS Abraham Lincoln, Alameda, California, where he deployed in support of Operation Southern Watch. He was a pastoral care and ethics advisor on the staff of Piers 6 in the Bureau. He'll tell you what that means in the Bureau of Naval Personnel, Washington, D.C. When the Bureau relocated to Millington, Tennessee, he was assigned as Senior Navy Chaplain, Arlington National Cemetery. I think we're all familiar with Arlington National Cemetery, guys. Naval District, Washington, D.C. His United States Marine Corps assignment included Marine 9, 2nd Marine Air Wing, Fleet Marine Forces Atlantic in New River, North Carolina, where he served as the Aviation Combat Element Chaplain for Amphibious Readiness Group East, deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, and subsequently assigned to Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Western Recruiting Region.
Dr. Poole, are you there?
He is frozen for a second.
Okay. I was just seeing if I was the only one that was not. Okay, thank you. How are you this evening?
I'm doing fine. I'm not sure if we're still being recorded.
I believe so.
The weather has been acting up around here, and the internet seems to be going in and out. So, Dr. Poole, Dr. Townsend, great that you have come back and joined us. We're so happy that you're here with your colleagues, with Dr. Poole, and we're still awaiting the arrival of Dr. Fields. Dr. Townsend, if you will, I just want to share again briefly. You've been here with us already. Dr. Townsend is a director of Board of Christian Education for the Louisiana region. She's a retired educator. Obviously, as we've already stated, she does extensive work with the C.C. Taylor Foundation. So welcome again, Dr. Townsend.
Thank you and good evening. Good to be here again with you.
Good evening. We're so happy to have you. And please allow me just to pause again for a second and just share with Dr. Poole when the streaming stops, if you'll go out and come back in, it should be fine. Dr. Townsend, Dr. Poole, and I were discussing momentarily as we were getting ready to come on the air. We know that Dr. Fields is not with us. We don't know if she'll be able to join us or not, but we're just moving forward in the process of the show as we go forward. So again, we want to thank the audience members. I see some of our Get Vocal colleagues have taken the time to come. So we're going to move forward. Now, in this process, we know that there are many questions about foundations as a whole, and we're going to be speaking specifically about the C.C. Taylor Foundation. And we know that we have the director here, and I know that all of us know that Dr. Townsend within this foundation. So as we're dealing with our computer glitches and our internet glitches, we're going to ask Dr. Townsend, please, if you just kind of touch upon a little insight as Dr. Poole returns to the table, dealing specifically with the foundation itself, Dr. Townsend.
Yes, yes. The C.C. Taylor Foundation has as its mission to award scholarships to high school students who also are active in their churches and in their communities. But we also have other missions and projects. For example, we do some scholarships and stipends to support ministers and or persons who are entering seminary or other theological programs. Then too, we have programs where we have missions that really support those persons who are in great need. So we're just not concerned about those who need some academic support, but also those who need community support and working within our communities.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. You know, we often talk about foundations. We often talk about scholarships, and we talk about the assistance that we give to students. So as we move a little forward, will you please just kind of share with us how you go about choosing the students that are able to receive or even be considered for the various scholarships that you have?
Yes. Each year, the foundation asks students to apply for scholarships two ways. One, by going to the C.C. Taylor Foundation website, where the application is there online, and also the criteria for applying. But then also our scholarship team sends out applications to various schools within the Memphis, Tennessee, Mississippi area. But do know that our scholarships are not just in those areas, that anyone may apply for those scholarships as it on the website. This year, we sent the applications to about 400 schools, and we had a good response from those schools.
Fantastic. Okay, we got Dr. Poole back with us. Dr. Poole, you were very gracious,
Yes.
and as we suggested some things that we're going to talk about, and as I told you guys, you are my guest, and my rendition of sharing information is shutting up and listening. So as you've shared with us, will you please share with us at this time what is significant about the month of August and the C.C. Taylor Foundation, sir?
Thank you, Minister Lara. Thank you for having us on the broadcast tonight, and really appreciate that.
It's our pleasure.
The significance between C.C. Taylor Foundation and the month of August is connected to about 400 years ago. The first African slaves were brought to a place called Point Comfort, which is outside of Hampton, Virginia today. And since that time of coming here to America, and they have been dispersed all over the world, people of African descent, they've always been engaged in philanthropy, in giving back, and helping the community, in uplifting people around and sharing whatever they have. And the way that connects to C.C. Taylor Foundation is that is exactly what the founders of the organization were about. When we think of it's named after Reverend Charlie and Mrs. Cinderella S. Taylor Sr. They were people of modest means. They had their own farm. They were in rural Mississippi. But one of the things that stood out for them was that they were like real life Good Samaritans. And that is that they would generously share their time, their talent, whether that was in the form of helping somebody find a place to live, or giving them food, or helping them with a job. They would do whatever they could to benefit and bless others. And so we are in keeping, and that's what I want to share with the audience tonight, is to talk a little about philanthropy as it relates to all of us, because most of us do not think right off the bat that, hey, I'm a philanthropist. We think that's somebody that has a whole lot of wealth. But the truth is, if you are giving of your time, your talent, and your treasure in any form, you are a philanthropist, because it means that you care about other people.
Absolutely. You know, Dr. Poole, as you share that, and if I can segue into, I'm so happy to know that we are talking about the 1619. You know, there are a lot of projects out there right now. The NAACP has a 16 project. We saw the thing with the New York Times about the 1619 project. We know there's been a lot of information out there. We even have a group called the Shackles 400 that Dr. Townsend is a part of, by the way. We being Dr. Cincone and Dr. Townsend, myself, Brother Ross Schlacks, who's the procurer of the African American Museum there in Monroe, along with Dab Triplett and a few others. So as I share that, you have told us the significance of that. However, do you find it difficult to have people really understand the importance of sharing with an organization like that because of the kind of works that you do within that organization?
I would say the answer to that is no.
Okay.
And it's from this. In this area, in terms of philanthropy, the key is one-on-one type relationship, getting to know people, having meaningful conversation with them, and finding out what are they passionate about. And then taking a look at how their passions and what the mission and the vision of the organization of C.C. Taylor Foundation is about, see how they marry up. And when we have made those connections, that's how we have been around for the last 12 years, is simply because people who are like us, who have the same interests and desires and passion to see the betterment of others, who feel that we have been blessed by God to be a blessing to somebody else, those are the individuals or types of individuals who come and partner with us and stand with us.
Fantastic. I see some of our Get Vocal colleagues are joining us, and we're happy that you guys are here. We're still waiting on another guest, gentlemen. So hang with us, and we appreciate you coming on. And as I'm looking at my monitor here, Dr. Townsend and Dr. Poole, I see you're getting a lot of thumbs up and some hearts. So we want to encourage our listeners to turn those thumbs ups and hearts into some donations. And I just want to be very clear about that. We want, it's one thing to acknowledge this, as you and I know you know this. It's one thing to acknowledge the situation, but is most definitely the most crucial part is to what it, I see we've lost Dr. Townsend again. And guys, it's my internet service where I'm working from. There's a storm in the area, and so it's us. So just but we're going to keep moving anyway. Please come back. If I go out, I'm going to come back. Now, as we both of you have talked about the mission, the vision, and the values of the C.C. Taylor Foundation, and I see we have some people joining us on late. And if either Dr. Townsend or Dr. Poole would like to just give a brief synopsis and overview. I know you've shared already. We have some guests that are just joining us a little late, and then we will move on a little further. Just touch on just a little bit, and we'll keep moving. The vision and the values of the foundation.
Okay. The visions of the C.C. Taylor Foundation is simply to enrich lives, grow churches, and transform the local communities where we serve. And so we are, a lot of the founders are from the Methodist tradition, though it's not denominational based whatsoever. It is faith-led. But from the Methodist tradition, we believe the world is our parish. And so we try to help people, whether they're overseas, whether they're in the United States. If there's a need, we simply do not turn our heads and look away. We will sign up, we'll enroll, and then we will go to work to try to resolve whatever that problem is to the best of our abilities with those who come alongside. And so that's basically our vision, is to enrich lives, grow churches, transform the community. The values that you'll hear over and over again from the way we live our life, the way we operate the foundation, will center around leadership, partnership, relationship, scholarship, and stewardship. And I think that will sum it up real quickly. I'll yield to Dr. Townsend.
I think, Dr. Poole, you have summed it up very well. And I would just like to add that the parts when we talk about our relationship and partnership are very important values and among the top primary values for the foundation, for the C.C. Taylor Foundation.
Excellent. And a perfect segue, Dr. Townsend and Dr. Poole, into, one of the SMART goals of the foundation. I was sharing with Dr. Poole earlier, I have a special affinity for SMART. We use it a lot in education, and Dr. Townsend, I know all of us are ex-educators. So Dr. Poole, have at it, my brother. Have at it.
All right. Thank you, and thank you, listeners. The goals, I'm just going to break it up real quick into 3 parts: intermediate, short, and long range. The intermediate goal right now is that we are inviting our current partners and other extraordinary generous donors to join us in investing $1 million to offset 80% of the academic tuition for a minimum of 25 underrepresented seminarians who are leading small churches with salaries that are below the poverty level. And we want to do that, put those men and women, young adults for the most part, through school where they come out debt-free by 2023. Short range, we are wanting to build a strong community of generous partners who invest their time, their talents, and their treasures in a minimum of 210 since they entered into child, and they are beginning to graduate in 2020 and will continue on through 2023. And so what we have committed to is giving all of those 210 plus others who apply for the scholarships a scholarship to help them go into the areas of STEM type education. And we are big on STEM, we're big on vocational technical training, anything in that area. In terms of our long-term goal, we simply want to connect multicultural social impact philanthropists. And that's people who care about making a difference in this world. We want to connect them with people who are in need and who are preparing either for the call to ministry or preparing for a career in education, art, business, science, technology, or governmental service. And so that's our SMART goal.
Fantastic. Dr. Towns, would you like to share more, or should we keep moving?
Let's keep moving.
Okay, and listen, now I certainly agree with what we're looking at here. Those are noble goals, obviously, but how can we be sure that C.C. Taylor Foundation is capable of achieving what you just described, and that it uses contributions in accordance with donors' intent?
Excellent question. Thank you for asking. As I said earlier, we have been around for about 12 years. We have helped hundreds of students through college. 97% of all of our applicants or recipients have either graduated with their undergraduate degree or they're in the process of graduating. The 3% that did not graduate went into the armed forces so that they could make enough money and get the educational benefit. 20% of all of our graduates to date have earned either a master's degree or some type of professional degree, whether it's in medicine or law. Right now, we have probably 200, I would say a little less than 800 people who are applied for the scholarship. But based upon our resources, we've only been able to help about 25% of those. And so in terms of what we have been able to do, in terms with the donors' intent, 4% of all of our contributions have gone out to awards, and that's for those individuals who didn't have the 3.0 academic average. We have helped about 5% in the area of clinical pastoral education. We have done 14 Good Samaritan projects. 14% of all of our donations have gone into ministerial stipends, and 63% have gone into STEM educational scholarship. And so we have been able to do what we set out to do in terms of our mission, and that is reaching back and helping those who come behind us. And that's what we're all about.
Great. Now we have David Sellers from Las Vegas, Nevada, is asking, and I know you touched upon it. He'd already asked a question. He was asking if there was I'm trying to read it. I won't be embarrassing here. He was asking, I'm trying to formulate the question. I know what he's asking. Is there a cutoff for academic achievement to be involved in this process of receiving some of these funds? Now, well, it looked like he's already clicked out, but I was going to ask David if he will explain to us if he was a seminarian, etc. And if I can get him, if he's still listening, if he'll come back on, and if he'll tell us if he's a seminarian. But his question primarily was, is there a cutoff as far as GPA? And I just want to formulate this correctly as I'm interpreting what he's asking. How does one get involved in the process of receiving funds? So he really asking two questions. So David, if you can still hear us, if you come back on, if I'm not asking the question you want me to ask, and we will repeat it. So he wants to know if there's a cutoff GPA, and if and how basically would one apply to become a part of the process of the C.C. Taylor Foundation?
The easiest answer I can give is
Dr.
to
Townsend, I
visit
think
our
Dr.
web.
Poole is frozen. Again, we're having, as I said, internet problems. It's storming in this area. So I think he's frozen, but I know he's going to come back on. So can you touch upon that briefly?
I can. What Dr. Poole was about to say is that the easiest way to understand all of the qualifications or the criteria for the C.C. Taylor Scholarship is to visit our website at cctaylorfoundation.org and click on the tab that says application. But Dr. Poole is here now. But once you click on that, there's some general information, and then also there is another tab that follows that one can see the actual application and the criteria that's listed in that application. Again, that's
Fantastic.
at the cctaylorfoundation.org.
Okay. Dr. Poole, at the very risk of me being overly redundant, I'm just sharing with our audience that it's storming in our area, and our internet keeps going in and out. So we're happy that you're patient with us and come back in each and every time it cuts off. And Dr. Townsend was addressing the issue for our brother Seller, so we won't wear you out and prolong that question. Now, in 30 seconds, will you make the case for the reason someone should consider investing their precious time, talents, and hard-earned treasure with the CC Taylor Foundation?
Yes, I'll give you the audience one reason right now. We have a $310,000 matching grant that is being offered to us by Asbury Theological Seminary for each dollar that we give for seminary education that we receive in contributions. And so if you are interested in growing the church, growing the leadership, and having leaders go back out in the community, you have an opportunity to double your impact. For every dollar, it will be matched by them. Be able with us to make a difference on a larger scale in terms of opening doors of opportunities to like 80% of the students we indicated that we are not able to help at this time.
Okay, great. Listen, guys, we are so happy to now have Dr. Valerie S. Fields with us. And Dr. Fields, we shared with our audience that you will be coming on a little late, and we're just happy that you're here. And then we just a bit for our audience. And some came in late, but you get the benefit of that. Guys, our other panelists that have joined us is Dr. Valerie Fields. Dr. Fields is a John Maxwell Team Certified Speaker, teacher, trainer, and coach. She specializes in teaching and training. Successful completer of Harvard University's Institute for Higher Education, Management and Leadership in Education in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and the American Association of State Colleges and Universities Millennium Leadership Institute, Washington, D.C. Principal consultant facilitating technologically engaged experiences for nonprofits through curriculum design and project management. She's a former post-secondary administrator with more than 25 years of progressively responsible experience in K-12 and post-secondary instruction, curriculum development, project management, technology planning, and accreditation and compliance. Welcome, Dr. Fields. We're so happy that you're able to join us. And
thank you.
So welcome to the Nobody Asked Me Guy show.
Thank you. Now,
just to bring Dr. Fields up to date, obviously we have Dr. Poole with us, and Dr. Poole, I would like to ask you, sir, since you are the head of the organization, if you would like to briefly share with Dr. Fields, kind of bring her into the fold of what we've been discussing, and then I won't be redundant and repeating, and we can move on, and I won't have to hold you guys half the night.
All right. Really quick, Dr. Fields, and thank you, Minister Lair. Dr. Townsend has shared with the audience about the mission and vision of the organization. I talked about some of our SMART goals in terms of what we are doing with Asbury, the matching grants, and why someone should give. And so there was a question out there in terms of were there limits, and we referred the audience to our website. And so I think Dr. Fields is very versed. He's been with us on the ground floor, so you can ask any question ever.
Fantastic. Dr. Fields, with that stated, are there some items that you'd like to share briefly as it relates to the CC Taylor Foundation that you are very passionate about, or that you would like to make sure that the audience has it? And what Dr. Poole was alluding to was a young man, David Sellers. I was hoping that he would come back with us, was asking a question about a GPA cutoff and how to get involved. So with us being in academia, would there be something that you'd like to share relative to the CC Taylor Foundation?
Thank you very much. I would just like to say that we were able to do some extended outreach geographically this particular year. We were given some tasks, and that was to reach out in a 120-mile radius of Memphis, Tennessee. When we did that, we were able to attract about 400 principals and counselors and teachers and students, and they did respond to us, and we were very, very excited about the numbers increasing for the response. However, when you know that the numbers of response increase, then that means that the giving has to increase as well. So now we're really looking forward to having a broader scope of our donors who come in and contribute to us to ensure that these students will be given the opportunity as we continue to grow in volumes with the responses from the individuals that are doing the applications. The other thing that I would just like to add is the fact that I think that we are gearing up for our gala and also our golf tournament. And so my new excitement is the inaugural golf tournament that is going to be held on the 27th, which is on Friday, and it will be in Memphis, Tennessee at the, let me see, what was the name? It is the Links at Pine Hill, and that is going to be at 1005 Alice Avenue in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm very excited about that. We're going to do a shotgun time of about 8 a.m. So that is one of our programs that is new to us on this year, and we're really excited about that. And we're hoping that we'll be able to get some golfers to come over to support this great opportunity of helping to raise dollars for a scholarship. So we're excited about that. And of course, we will have the gala on that Saturday following the golf tournament on the 28th, and that will be at the Marriott East in Memphis, Tennessee. So we are really excited about all of the great things that are going on with the C.C. Taylor Foundation. Dr. Townsend and Dr. Poole are doing a really great job leading the organization, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Wow, that's super. As you share that, please allow me to segue. There was a question, Johnny Arbuckle from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Johnny is asking, is the scholarship only for ministers? I think Johnny came in a little late. Dr. Poole did a great job explaining all of that, but if you'll respond to Jonathan, we'd appreciate it. Okay.
No, the scholarship is not only for ministers. As a matter of fact, the scholarship opportunities are geared more towards students who are graduating from high school. There is a ministerial stipend that is provided for those individuals who are looking to increase their knowledge in ministry or in some form of divinity.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. Hope that answers Jonathan. He's giving you a thumbs up, so okay. He has that. Okay. Okay. With all information about the golf tournament and all of the great things that you're doing, and Dr. Poole did an excellent job talking about the philanthropic efforts of the families that move the process forward. Is there anything else you would like to share? Before we really kind of wrap this up, I know everybody's busy, and you were kind enough to commit to 30 minutes. And I want to try to hold within that, and we may go a little over that. But if there's anything else that you'd like to share as we close this segment of the Nobody Asked Me Guy show, any of the three panelists.
Dr. Poole, you're on.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Minister Laura, and to the listening audience. I'd like to challenge everybody to this call of action to take 3 steps. The first is to volunteer your time and your talents with a charity that you share the same values, or a cause that you share the same values. The second thing is I challenge you to give monthly 1% more from your discretionary income to that charity or cause that you believe in. Doesn't have to be C.C. Taylor Foundation, but you'll be amazed that if you would give your percentage and match it with somebody else's, together we'll be able to make a big difference. The third area that I would encourage our listening audience to do is to invest in your own God-given dreams. We all have ideas about how we would like our communities, our families, and the world to be better. Well, you still have a voice because you are alive today to hear this broadcast. Use that voice for a better community by doing these simple things. Get with some other people and start a giving circle, or make a major gift from any appreciated stock that you transferred directly from your investment company to that nonprofit organization. Don't cash it in, make it go direct so that you get the tax advantage. Consider leaving a life insurance policy to that organization and making them the owner, and you get the benefit of that, vice giving it in your inheritance where your family would end up having to pay taxes on it as income. There are three things that are going to happen to everything you have. It's either going to your family, or it's going to Uncle Sam, or it's going to go to charity. Consider your traditional IRAs, your non-Roth, and make a planned gift in your wills, giving a percentage of your estate. The last thing I want to say with 2 seconds is that somebody is listening to this broadcast, and that somebody is like Dr. Townsend, Dr. Fields, and myself, as well as you, Minister Laura. And they know that God has blessed them. And I want to say to that young man or that young woman out there, God has his hands on you. And whatever you have heard of Dr. Townsend and Dr. Fields and our hosts, their lives and their careers, God is going to do even greater things in your life. Keep the faith, trust in God. And if there's something CC Taylor Foundation can do to support you, all you have to do, let us know. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you, Dr. Poole. Well, we are closing, and I'm going to ask this question for Bruce Durham from Buffalo, New York, because I think it's important. And then we're going to end the show. We're going to find out how they can contact you, etc. Bruce wants to know, what is SMART and what does it stand for? If we can give Bruce maybe a reduced version real quickly, whomever would like to take that. Bruce Durham from Buffalo is asking, and Bruce is a latecomer. We try to on our show, even when we have individuals that come in late, to just give them a brief synopsis. So if someone would just answer that for Bruce very, very quickly, and I will be a man of my word, and we will release you from what you have chosen to be an obligation this evening.
I would yield to any of my colleagues, or I'll hop on it. You all just let me know.
Dr. Fields, you want to address that? I think that you are probably our expert on the SMART goals.
Okay.
But you will have to unmute yourself.
Your mic is muted.
I was saying I was yielding to Dr. Poole and letting him move on with that, since he had kind of spoken about it earlier.
Okay,
He did, and he did an excellent job.
Okay.
But Bruce was a little late, so we just want to try to accommodate him as we close.
Okay.
Real quick. SMART, S-M-A-R-T. SMART stands for the goal must be specific. M stands for it must be measurable. The A stands for it must be achievable. The R stands for it has to be realistic. And T says you must put a time on it. And so one of the ones that I shared was that we're going to get our donors to help us to wisely invest $1 million, something very specific, to offset some academic tuition for X number of students, and that we want to do it by 2023. And so SMART goals is simply a way to talk about anything. And I will try to cut it out. I can talk about what I'm going to eat for breakfast tomorrow and make it a SMART goal. 2 eggs, toast, that's specific. When am I going to do it tomorrow? It's that simple. It's just a way to talk about what you're going to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Listen, Dr. Townsend, Dr. Fields, Dr. Poole, it's been a fantastic undertaking and fantastic sharing. And again, I want to personally apologize to the three of you. As I said, it's storming in our area and the internet was going in and out, but thank God it's letting us remain as we close. If you will, please, if each one of you will take this opportunity to share with our audience, how might they contact you? Dr. Townsend, would you like to share initially?
Yes, I will share initially. Officially, anyone that wants to make a contact may contact me. I am the CEO of the foundation at Carol, CAROYL .Townsend, TOWNSEND at cctaylorfoundation.org. That's the official, my official foundation email. And if I'm
Okay.
contacted at that, then I will give them personal phone information or other information.
Okay.
All right.
Dr. Phil.
All right. And the same for me is just Valerie, VALERIE .Fields, FIELDS at cctaylorfoundation.org.
All right. Dr. Poole, please.
And all right, Johnny Poole, and I'll keep it simple. I'm gonna give you a telephone number. Remember, I'm the interim director of philanthropy and stewardship, so you know what I'll be wanting to talk to you about. But the telephone number is area code 601-509-2635, or just visit the website. The number is there, and that email address, I will be able to get any information that you have for the director of philanthropy and stewardship. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much. Listen, we want to thank each and every one of you from the C.C. Taylor Foundation. And listen, I am Melvin Lars. I am the host of the Nobody Asked Me Guy show. We debut most Friday nights at 7 o'clock p.m. We want to invite you back next Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. We're going to have none other than Mrs. Chantel Overton. Now, those of you that came on early, you heard Dr. Poole talk about the 1619 Project. And those of us that grew up in the Jim Crow South, we know about the families, about our white families and our black families. Dr. Chantel Overton is actually of that lineage, and she's going to walk us through that and talk to us about it. They are mega millionaires, and she's going to talk about all this, and you'll have history firsthand. There's a museum coming up with the Overtons, and if you know about Anthony Overton, he was part of Black Wall Street and part of the African American through the first Black Bank, etc. So please come back next Friday, 7 o'clock p.m., the Nobody Asked Me Guy show, and we'll put it there. In order to contact me, if you will simply go to my website at www.dyingonmyfeet.com, www.dyingonmyfeet.com. You will find all of our social media links there, the LinkedIns, the Instagrams, the Facebook, etc. So again, we thank you very much for joining us, and we thank our audience so very much. And I want to lastly say again to our guests, we're very humbled that you've taken the time to come and to join us and to educate us about the C.C. Taylor Foundation. So again, we're very gracious and very grateful, and you were all very gracious and very forthcoming, and you shared extremely important information. But I do want to end by saying this to our listeners, especially the gentleman that had questions for you, Brother Bruce Durham from Buffalo, New York, Brother David Sellers from Las Vegas, Nevada, and Brother Johnny Arbuckle from Tulsa, Oklahoma, along with our other guest. Donate your time, your talents, and your finances to the C.C. Taylor Foundation. Dr. Poole has already warned you that when you contact him, you know what you're going to be contacting him for. So without further ado, again, we're going to bid you good evening, and we thank each and every one very much for joining us on this platform. We want you to have a great and blessed night. Again, this is your host, Melvin Lars, from the Nobody Asked Me Guy show.